Let's go right to the man, Bill O'Reilly, host of the No Spin News. Mr. O'Reilly, it's an honor, sir. First of all, how many presidential elections have you been covering? And what is perhaps unique about what you're seeing tonight?
Yeah, I started with Grover Cleveland. I think I was there. And it looks like Donald Trump is going to be Grover Cleveland light, which isn't hard to be because Grover was about 350 pounds. But it looks like Trump is on his way. I started covering in 1976. So I've seen a lot of stuff, that's for sure, Mike. I just got off the phone with some people inside the Trump campaign. So take this for what it's worth, because the campaigns always spin and propagandize, always. So what they tell me is that Georgia is a lock for Trump. And the reason is that the Atlanta turnout, which is a stronghold for the Democrats, is not what it was 4 years ago. That's what they say. They also say they're going to win. The Republicans of Trump will win North Carolina, even though the governor there was defeated. The Republican guy running for governor was kind of a loon. He is already lost. The Trump campaign says they're going to win North Carolina by 3 points. That's pretty precise. You know, this is what they say. Who knows? Mark Halperin. You're familiar with that name, Mike? Do you know him?
He's been doing a fantastic job these last few months.
Okay. He was a network analyst, and now he's on his own. And he says that Wisconsin is trending toward Trump. Lower turnout in Milwaukee, and there's a monsoon there now. It's raining like crazy in eastern Wisconsin. So the last hour or two, the crowd has been suppressed. I thought Wisconsin would go to Harris, but Halperin is saying no, it's going to go to Trump. But the most interesting reaction is Jake Tapper at CNN. You know him, right? Jake Tapper. So this guy's an ardent leftist. I mean, you don't, as far as a broadcaster in a mainstream corporation, there are plenty of them at NBC and the other networks, but this guy, forever. And he is now rattled because independents, according to exit polling in Georgia, are voting for Trump 20% higher than they did 4 years ago. If that's true, and this is CNN exit polling, and Trump wins Georgia, if he wins Georgia and North Carolina, he has an 85% chance of returning to the White House. So that's what I got for you.
Okay. Yeah. So if he wins Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, that's 270. That's it. That's all he would need in order to get there.
Yeah,
can we extract?
It's close there.
Please say it again. Sorry.
Pennsylvania is chaotic. They're having trouble in certain counties. Philadelphia has always been a problem. It's run by a guy named Larry Krasner. He's the DA. He's a Soros boy. You know, that's a real troubled part of America. But if Trump gets the electoral votes in North Carolina 16, Georgia 16, 32, that overwhelms Pennsylvania at 19. And if Trump were to take the 10 in Wisconsin, I believe he'll win Arizona, which is 11. He's in. And now a guy named Karl Rove, you may have heard of it, at Fox News. And the reason I'm using all of these names is because you learn a lot by seeing the reactions of certain people who have wires into the voting apparatus. Rove is a big Republican guy. He says that New Hampshire is in play. And New Hampshire is a state that was not fond of Donald Trump. I don't know if that's true, but if it's close, that's another big indicator.
Yeah. Mr. O'Reilly, we want to make a call right now that the state of Florida has gone for Donald Trump in a commanding fashion. Right now, Florida is 80% of the results in, and Donald Trump is up 11%. in the state of Florida. This is after 2020. Donald Trump won Florida by 3.5. So 3.5, now up to 11. And if we look specifically at Miami-Dade, which again, this is 80% in, Hillary took Miami-Dade 63-33, so by 30 points. In 2020, Biden beat Trump by 7 points in Miami-Dade. And right now, we're looking at Donald Trump up 10 points in Miami-Dade, again with 80% of the vote still to go. But that is a massive swing in only 8 years in one particular county. What do you learn from that, sir?
Well, I learned that Trump's going to be the next president. That's what I learned. And congratulations to Florida, to Tallahassee, by the way, for cleaning up their problems down there and running a very efficient election. This is the second one in a row, and people across the country should model themselves after the state of Florida when they have votes. So look, I don't think that Republicans and Trump MAGA people should get overconfident, but at this rate, this election could be over by midnight.
Wow. Okay, let me put a little wet towel on here, Mr. O'Reilly. I just told my wife something similar, being a little bit optimistic here. She's like, how's it going? He was very nervous, Nelly. And I say, things are looking good for Trump. Right? He looks like he's ahead. And she goes, yeah, well, I heard that before. How are you, as a journalist, approaching potential cheating shenanigans in these final hours here, sir?
I don't approach it at all because I don't analyze based on what might happen, what could happen. I don't do speculation, Mike. You do my radio with me every day. You know I don't do that. I'm a numbers guy. I made a prediction Trump would win based on voter registration being much more advantageous to the Republicans in the swing states. That's in stone. That's a fact. I know certain places like Philadelphia, I don't trust their electoral process. Might well be cheating. They've been cheating in every single election, beginning with Jefferson versus Adams after George Washington left the second term. Washington didn't have to cheat. They anointed him. So if you read my book, Confronting the Presidents, every election's had cheating. You can assume this one will have too. But there's a trend developing in the United States today, November 5th, 2024. And here is the trend. The Biden administration failed. And Americans want Trump to come back and do what he did the first time around. That is the trend. Simple, but I think it's absolutely in stone.
Do you think that's a rational and logical conclusion for a majority of Americans to make?
That's what exit polling says. You know, between 70 and 75% of Americans are not happy with the state of the nation. And Biden's the second worst president in our history. Again, you read Confronting the Presidents, you'll see I lay it all out for you. And Harris cheerleaded every single thing that Biden did. That view thing, that was the key moment that sunk Kamala Harris. When she was asked, would you have done anything differently? I can't think of anything. Hey, lady, you got an open border, okay? You got inflation running 30% for essentials higher than under Trump. You got Ukraine, you got Gaza, you got Afghanistan, and you wouldn't do anything differently? That was it, Mike. That was the...
How could... Sorry, excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt. How could that have happened? How could she / her team not have come up with a better answer to that pivotal question? An obvious question.
Yeah, she's not a thinker. She's a memorizer. She memorizes what she's told to say by the progressive cadre that's running her campaign. Just as Biden, in the beginning, read the prompter, and other people wrote it, and he read what was on there. And Harris isn't mentally deficient. In fact, she's very good on television in front of the camera. But she has no confidence in herself when it comes to thinking on her feet, which is why she didn't do any meaningful interviews. You had to be in the tank to get her attention. And so Americans put it all together. Again, I don't want to get overconfident. I don't want to be delivering a message to Trump voters that it's over. It's not over. But boy, who would you rather be at this moment, Harris or Trump?
That's right. In that vein, are you concerned about how the media will react to this Trump victory tonight, assuming it pulls out this way? And of course, maybe watching some MSNBC tonight will be fun to see our friends over there not too happy.
Yep.
But in the days to come, leading to January 20th, the inauguration, and over the next 4 years, do you think there'll be any moments of contrition or repentance in any way?
Nobody cares anymore, Mike. So the network newscasts in the morning and in the early evening are finished. The percentage drops are staggering. Americans don't trust them. They don't watch them. They're gone. The late night comedians, they've destroyed that franchise. They're gone. The cables will still make money because they'll speak to the choir. That's what they do. CNN is in desperate trouble. All right. I don't know how long they can hang on. They still make money, but their numbers are unbelievably bad. Fox will be there because Fox is the only really major corporation that is tilts right. And NBC will carry MSNBC, but hardly anybody watches them anyway. The newspapers are really in trouble. Washington Post hemorrhaging money, and the New York Times says they're making money on the internet. I don't really believe it. So big changes in the media coming up, that's for sure.
That's good. That's why we're here too. Last question for you, sir. What is your advice to President Trump in the next, let's say, 48 hours?
Go fishing. Take a little time off. Look, if Trump wins, you should be very conciliatory in his speech. That's it. Be nice.
Yep.
Remember your mom used to tell you, Mike, be nice. All right? That's what
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Bill O'Reilly, No Spin News, of course, and buy the book, Confronting the Presidents, and you'll see there's nothing new under the sun. Get little tidbits on every single president we've had. And here we have, not history, exactly, the second time, as you said, Mr. O'Reilly, that we've had a president serve 2 non-consecutive terms. Perhaps. We'll see how the night unfolds. Bill O'Reilly, thank you for joining us today, sir.
Appreciate it, Mike. Thank you.